Welcome along to our little sustainable farm. We have a jam-packed episode this week. We're going to be very busy in the orchard because I've got to thin out all of the apples on the apple tree. Did you know that you've got to thin out the apples in order to have a really good harvest of apples? I had no idea until a couple of months ago, so I'm going to share what I've learned with you. And then I'm going to be back in the garden because I'm going to cook delicious fried courgette flowers filled with English ricotta, our own honey and some fresh mint. It is so good, possibly my favourite thing to eat all summer. So come along and join me. When we first moved into Broadspear, I was so excited to discover this beautiful apple tree. It was one of the few things that was growing here and giving us fruit. And we got so many bottles of apple juice, I think about 80 bottles of apple juice, when we picked all of the apples on the first autumn to bring to the juice presser locally. And then the couple of years afterwards, we got little and little fruit off it. And then I discovered that you've got to thin the apples from the apple tree during the summer, which I had never known about before. So I'm imagining there's some of you that are watching right now and did not know about thinning your apples on the apple tree during the summertime. And basically what that does is it allows for all of the apples to grow lovely and rich and beautiful. So let me show you why. So on a branch here, you've got about 12 clumps of apples. And when I first saw it, I remember thinking, oh my God, that's amazing, there's loads of apples. But it's not, because there is too many apples on that branch, so there isn't enough nutrients going into all of the apples to actually create rich apples. So you have to take them out and thin them down to about 1 or 2. I'm going to take the 2 smaller ones, and the ones that have got a little bit of speckle, a little bit of disease on them, they are gone. I'm leaving it with 1 larger healthy one. And again in here I'm taking out all of these, and it seems like a waste when you're doing this, but I guess what you've got to get into your head, or what I had to get into my head, is that they will all be wasted if I don't thin them. So then again, another one here, and then that is that branch thinned. What it'll also do is it'll lighten the branch. See how that branch just kind of perked right up again? And so that the branches don't break. A lot of the apple trees are under stress because they're way down by so many apples, and the branches will break. But of course the main thing is that you will never get a good fruit if there are too many apples on the one stem. So here there's 4. I'm going to take out that one, I'm going to take out that one. I'll leave it with 2 nice healthy ones. So 2 is the max you should have on a little branch like this. I've got 4 here, I'm going to take out that one. Here I've got tons. So that branch is looking good now. I mean, nature does some of it already, and that's why you have so many fallen apples. It will kind of naturally shed itself, but it definitely needs a helping hand. So many apple trees around the country are not being used, as in like the apples of them aren't being used. And there are so many apple presses locally all around the country too. We just collect all your apples, you bring them into the local press, and they will make bottles of beautiful apple juice for you. You can also make apple cider vinegar. We also make, spicy apple chutney. We're going to make hopefully cider this year too if we have enough apples. Of course, all the crumbles and the cakes. The list is endless. I'm going to show you how to make fried courgette flowers filled with English ricotta, fresh mint, and our own broad spear honey. They are one of my favourite ways to use up our courgette flowers when they are in season. So this is what they look like when I pick them off the courgette plant. This is a mini little courgette, and out of the courgette grows the flower. They open up in the morning when there's no light, and then they close up during the day when there's sunlight, and then they open up again in the evening. But it doesn't matter when you really pick them. But when you do pick them, pop them into the fridge and try to use them as fast as you can. You can also buy them in lots of really good vegetable stores around the country. And of course, farmers markets will have them too. So you need to make the batter. The batter is really, really simple. It's plain flour, bicarbonate soda, and then also soda water. You sieve the flour, which is plain flour, all-purpose flour, and the bicarbonate of soda into a large bowl. And this is not a batter that needs to sit around. This is a batter that needs to be used straight away. And then next in goes the soda water. And you whisk that all together. You don't want to over whisk it. So a light whisk. It's a really light, simple batter. You want it the consistency of single cream. And then onto the filling. So the filling is fresh ricotta. I'm using English fresh ricotta. I pop that into a bowl. Lovely fresh mint from the garden. Beautiful. Just chop that up nice and finely. In that goes into the fresh ricotta. And then honey. And this is honey from our own beehives, which is always so lovely to have. The flavour and the taste of it is citrusy and also floral, because we've got so many flowers growing here at Broadspear. The bees absolutely love them. So you're putting in 2 tablespoons of honey, and then once the courgette flowers are fried, I'm going to drizzle more honey over it. Honey and ricotta and mint are so good together, and all wrapped up in one of those courgette flowers is heaven. One of my favourite ways to have it. And then I'm going to whisk these together using a fork. And then open up the courgette flower. So the leaves they all kind of shrivel up and come together like that. And you just want to carefully fold them back. And then using a small spoon, a teaspoon, we're going to fill the inside of the courgette flower. You don't want to overfill them because they'll burst. So I usually fill them about 2/3 of the way. And then take the tops of the petals and then just twist them like this. Pop that down. That's the last one. A little twist. Now, on to the frying. I've got a shallow pan of sunflower oil being heated up quite hot, and before I pop them in, you've got to test to make sure that the oil is hot enough, because I want those courgettes to be really nice and crispy. So what you do is you get a tiny little bit of the batter, pop it in and test it. If it sizzles like that and fries immediately, you know it's hot enough to go. So next thing is to get your courgette flour and just roll it in the batter like that, so it's completely coated. First one in. You never want to put more than 4 in at a time, because the temperature of the oil will drop with too many in there, and you'll never get that perfect fry. And they only take about 2 or 3 minutes. When you pop them in, you then want to turn them so the other side fries as well. So just gently turning them over. Back over here. You want them a lovely golden crisp colour. You don't want them any darker than that. So this one here is done already. Look at that. Gorgeous, crispy courgette flower. How exciting is that? It's one done. But they are fast to make, so have everything else ready, and then when you're ready to eat them, that's when you fry them off. So, I've got some pea shoots, and then some of our Broadspear honey drizzled over. Ooh. How good does that look? My beautiful fried courgettes filled with English ricotta, fresh mint and broad spear honey. In next week's episode, we are going to be harvesting our lavender and making beautiful lavender sugar. And with that, lavender shortcake biscuits. See you next week.